guys, the Undefined Variable here for episode 6 of my Spigot/Bukkit coding tutorials. I'm going to make these more often now that I have more time. Getting right into it, as you can see here, band management is what we're doing. Somebody in the comments of my last video had requested that I make a band management plugin. So first off, I'm going to put in a class that it's going to be in the description. I'm going to go through explaining it, but I've made it so many times that it's just pointless for me to make it again. But I'm going to go through each line so you guys can make it. It's for better config management. Okay, so here it is. Actually, let me just get rid of this import. So right here we have the name of the class config file, and we have public static config file instance equals new config file. That means, let's say in here I can do config file dot instance dot, and then I could use any of the methods from the config file class. That's going to be used because we need to set players as banned from other files than this. We have load values, which I'll explain because that's used down there. Here we have public void setup. You need to put this in your on enable, so you do config file dot instance dot setup get data folder. So basically this will make the config in whatever folder you say. Get data folder is the folder for the plugin. So if the file does not exist, file.mkdirs, which is create the file, this.conf, which is this file, equals new file dir, which is the location, plus band.yml. This is the name of the file. I'm having the band players stored in the band.yml. Next, if the config does not exist, file configuration config equals load configuration from this file, meaning it turns this file into a config, not just a normal file. Here's where we can set things like we did, in the last one when we did config.getMessage. This is setting, so we could set hey to hello, and this will put hey : hello. Next, try to save the config, and if there's an error, print the stack trace, load values. Okay, now let's actually get into the band management part. So I'm going to make a new Java class called band manager. This is going to contain the listeners and the command. So implements listener, and I don't know, something messed up with my IntelliJ settings, so I have to actually type in the import for a listener for some reason. See, then it works, and then command executor. So now we need, I'm just going to put the shell of our command over here, so public boolean on command. We already know this from our command thing. Command sender, let's import that. Right. Command cmd, import string, string string alias, which we don't usually use, and then string args. There we go. And then I'll just have return true, so that starts giving me an error. Let's see. Band manager, no. I have everything there, so it shouldn't. There we go. Okay. Next, at event handler, just gonna make our join event public void on player. I'll just do on player join player. I'm gonna do a player login event instead of a player join event, and you'll see why when we work on that. So let's get started on our command. If sender.has permission, so if the sender has a permission, meaning if you're using a permission plugin, if they have this permission, and if you're not, op has all permissions. So I'll just do ban manager dot ban. Then we'll do yeah. So let's do if args.length. So if the command length is, we'll do less than or equal to 2. Yeah, so for this one we'll do 2, and then less than or equal to 2. Now, if args length equals 2, and the sender has ban manager.ban, then we do if bucket dot oh no, wait, why did that not? Bucket dot get player. So it's gonna be here's how the command's gonna look. It's gonna be ban player reason. So we're gonna do if bucket.getPlayer args 0, so the first argument doesn't equal null. So if the player exists, meaning the player is actually online. This is only for online banning. If you want to do it for offline banning, you can get rid of this. But I only need to do for online banning. So if you want to have it where you could ban offline players, which most people want that, just get rid of this. So if the player exists, we're gonna do. Okay, so I just remembered, since we have the reason, which is more than 2, we want to get rid of this args length string. So we're gonna do string builder SB equals new string builder. What a string builder basically does is you can build one string from multiple strings. That's like the simple explanation of how it works. So next we're gonna do a for loop. So for int I equals 0, I is less than args.length I plus plus. So now, this would just take all the strings, including the player's name, but we don't want that. So first, let's do int I equals 1, meaning it'll start from after the player's name. And next, you want to do sb.append args I plus quotes. Okay, so next, that's our ban message. So you want to do, wait, there we go. Okay, so right under your for loop, you can go, player p equals bucket.getPlayer args 0. Now this is if, you have it how I'm set up, where you only want online players being banned. So we can actually, you know what? Let's just do a test. We can actually do if player doesn't equal null, then we're gonna do this and p.kickPlayer sb sb.toString. We'll do dot replace and comma quote. Let me just go grab my Windows section symbol. If you guys don't know what that is, let me pull it up. That is this, which is the default color codes, meaning if you do this instead of and, it'll turn it to a color. So if we replace and with that, it's like doing chat color.translate alternate color codes. And then we can do else. And actually, we want to build our string up here. So don't mind what I said when I said, you know, if you want to do online and offline banding. I'm going to show you both right here. So else, we'll just do config file dot instance dot set dot. Oh, whoop, my bad. So we want to do in here. We want to make a method to add banned players to the file. So I'm gonna do is right here. You're gonna do public void ban player p. So this means that our method will take an argument of a player, meaning we have to ban the player, and I'm just gonna do string s. So this is the player being banned, and this is his reason for being banned. So what we want to do is we want to do conf dot. Nope. We want to do file configuration config equals YAML configuration dot load configuration this dot conf. So that gets this config file. This file that we have here. So we're going to do config dot set, and then we're going to do quote banned dot players. So this will add them to the banned players dot plus p dot get name, and then their reason. So now that we have this, we can do. I'm just gonna do public string get ban reason player p. We're just gonna grab this same thing, the file configuration. Then we can do if config dot get quote banned dot players dot plus p dot get name doesn't equal null. So if it exists, then you want to do return config dot get banned dot players dot plus p dot get name. Where is that? Oh, and then you want to do dot toString at the end. Else, meaning if he's not banned, if the player is not banned, you want to do return null. So if they're not banned, a reason won't return. Next, let's go here and we could do config file dot instance dot ban player args 0, and then we we want to change this to string p. Just because, just in case they're not online, we can have it like that. So string p, and you just want to replace these p.get names with just p. There we go. Now you want to go in here and we can do arg0 and then sb.toString, and we can put the same thing here, except we can do config file dot instance dot ban player. We can do p.get name, or we can do arg0. It's whatever you want. sb.toString. So that'll set them banned in the config, but now we actually need to deny them entry to the server. So what you want to do is on player login event, in our player login event class here, we're gonna do player p equals event dot get player get player. So if config file dot instance dot you know what, we're actually going to add one more thing to the config file. Let's do public boolean is banned string p, and we can actually copy and paste from the ban reason class method, and we can check the same thing, but instead of returning the string we could return true, and otherwise we can return false. So if dot is banned p dot get name event dot disallow result dot kick other comma config file dot instance dot get ban reason p dot get name. And yeah, so we can replace, we do the chat color dot translate alternate color codes pretty much with that. So there we go, the ban is done. But now we really want to do what we really want to do is unban, because you really need an unbanned method. So if up here at the top you want to do if cmd.getName equals ignore case ban, and you want to surround all the code that we just made with that. So you could put the second bracket above true. Next, below that, we could do if cmd.getName equals ignore case unban. We can do if args.length is doesn't equal 1, because it's only unban and then the player name. You can do if config file dot instance dot is banned args 0. Let's just make an unbanned method to make life easier. So public void unban player string p if is banned p. So if the player is banned, then we can do file configuration config dot let's see, config dot get set banned dot players dot plus p, and we could just set that to null. Never mind, I had it right. So we want to do banned players dot plus p, set that to null, which will get rid of that. So now we go into the ban manager, and we go to the unbanned command. So if the player is banned, we could do config file dot instance dot unbanned player p args 0. So now the last thing to do is we want to send a message when the player is unbanned. So I'm just gonna do dot send message chat color dot green plus let me import chat color. You have successfully unbanned plus args 0. Next, down here we're going to put else. So if they're not banned, I'm going to send it in red, and we'll do player plus args 0 plus is not currently banned. And then we want to do over here, we can do you have successfully banned, and then the player name. So you can do this from the console, or a player can send this. It's really whatever. If you want to, I'm going to actually change these commands so that they don't conflict with, let's say, other plugins. So I'm just going to do custom ban and custom unban. Everything here looks good. Now we just got to go into here, config file.instance.setup. We need to, oh, hold on. Yeah, never mind. That's good. We want to do get server dot get plugin manager dot register events, new ban manager. This. Next, you can do get server dot get command. Wait, no. Dot get plugin manager dot get command. No. We want to do Bukkit dot get command. No. Next we want to do get next we want to do get command quote ban dot set executor new ban manager get command unban dot set executor new ban manager. And since I have mine as custom ban and custom unban, I'm going to set those. Next thing we need to do is we need to head into our plugin YML, commands, ban, descript. You know what? I think we could actually just leave it like that. Unban. Oh, gotta remember to put the custom. We should be able to just leave it like that with nothing, because we don't really need a description, because this is just a test plugin for me. Alright, so everything here looks good, so I'll meet you in the server. Alright, so in the coding over here, at the bottom of all these methods, well, at least this one we're going to do config.save this.conf. So you want to do that, you actually want to do try, because it might return in a thing. So catch exception e.print stack trace. So you want to take this method and you want to put it in ban player and the unban player methods. So now, after all that, we can finally get into the game. Okay, so this is why we proofread. We have over here, I did if the args length do not equal 1. I had it like that. You just want to change that to an equals. Now everything should work. Okay, so here's my server. Let's join real fast. And let's just do custom ban Darth31 and 6 and L lol. So you can see, and then if I try to join again, I'm still banned. You know, we might want to add a you are currently banned thing on top. So now if we switch over to the console, we can do custom unban Darth31. You have successfully unbanned Darth31. And now if we go back into our game and join, we're not banned. So thanks guys for watching. The next episode will be out shortly, and I'll see you then.